Your customers, stakeholders, and leadership are vital in order for you to deliver high value and positive outcomes. You need a great relationship with them in order for this to work, but do you often struggle to develop them? Well, perhaps surprisingly, Sir Isaac Newton's physics can help us. Let's find out how. Now, what I've noticed time and again, whether we're using agile ways of working or not, is a lack of great working relationships between teams and their stakeholders. Now, without these close working relationships, it's difficult to build the trust, openness, and transparency needed for effective collaboration. Now, have you heard the phrase, action is eloquence? It's from Coriolanus by Shakespeare. It means that taking action is what drives results. Good intentions alone are not enough. And I'm sure you've heard of this one before. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So, in order for us to build relationships, we need to first do something. They won't happen by themselves. Now, this might sound a bit out there, but bear with me, there is method in my madness. Now, Isaac Newton, the mathematician, physicist, and astronomer, who, by all accounts, was a truly horrible individual, but was nonetheless brilliant, came up with the 3 famous laws of motion and his law of gravity. Now, by understanding these, it can really help with our relationship building. So let's see why. Newton's first law of motion, inertia. Now, this states that every object remains at rest or in uniform motion unless compelled to change its state by the action of an external force. Now, starting to build relationships takes time and effort. They won't happen if we don't do something. So we need to actively and genuinely engage with our stakeholders to move from a state of no relationship to having a relationship and continue to maintain them, or inertia will set in. To start, we can find out what our stakeholders' key interest is and then invite them to a session solely focused on achieving their goals. This shows them that you understand what they need, you want to listen and value their feedback. It also shows them that coming to one of your sessions won't be a waste of their time, as it was all about their needs. And this is really important because we want them to come back to our next session. Now, this builds the beginnings of trust. It takes courage to take this first step, but it will be well worth it. Next up, Newton's second law of motion, force. Now, it states that the acceleration of an object depends on the mass of the object and the amount of force applied. Now, first, building relationships where none previously existed requires a lot of time and effort. But as the relationship builds and matures, the amount of effort required, although continuous, lessens and becomes much easier. So, with continued contact with your stakeholders, the anxiety or worry we sometimes feel about speaking to them lessens. You start to get to know each other, and with every other kind of relationship, it becomes easier. Now, building on these first steps, use other available tools to reach out to stakeholders, such as Teams messaging or whatever messaging you have available. Use it to show progress and ask for feedback. This builds on our meetings and will help strengthen the relationship. And also use informal ways of communicating, such as chats by the coffee machine or water dispenser if we're in the office, even if it's just to say hello. Now, Newton's third law of motion, action and reaction, states for every action in nature, there's an equal and opposite reaction. If we engage fully when building relationships, applying effort, then we can expect that same amount of effort to be returned in our direction. But if we only try in a half-hearted way, then we can expect that same response back. And this can cause more harm than good, damaging prospects for good relationships in the future. The takeaway here is that while trying to build relationships, we need to actively listen to what is being said. That means being present in the moment, giving them your undivided attention, having empathy. So, trying to understand the ask from their point of view and not closing them down with why something can't be done. And finally, Newton's law of gravity, in my very simplistic terms, states an invisible force that pulls objects closer together and gets weaker with distance. So the closer they are together, the stronger the gravitational pull is. And this reinforces our need for close, continuous relationships with stakeholders. It's been interesting during the last 3 years when at first we were all mostly working from home and then later into a more hybrid way of working. Now, if you'd have asked most agile coaches how this would affect agile ways of working, I think 90% of them would have said it would be very damaging. But the rise of conferencing tools like Teams, WebEx and all the others made it possible to stay close even when the physical distance between us is large. So remember, when we're on our Teams calls, actively listening, being present in the moment means cameras on, focusing on what's being said and not typing up or reading emails. Looking directly into the camera when you're talking and as much as possible when they are talking. That's the only way we can achieve eye contact. Now think about how you feel when you're trying to make an important point and no one looks interested. They're either looking away or typing something up when you look at the screen and not the camera. To everyone else, it looks like you're not paying attention. Empathy might look something like sending positive emojis at key points, asking questions rather than making statements. And these things are really important when we're working together via conferencing tools. So, in order to build relationships, we need to first start, be genuine, continuously build and maintain them, and remember that the amount of effort we put in is what we can expect in return. Who would have thought that physics can teach us a thing or two about building great relationships? Now, building on from this, check this video out, The Future of Leadership, which discusses servant leadership. Please hit the like button, share and subscribe. Those things really make a difference and I would greatly appreciate it. Okay, that's it for this one. Stay safe, stay humble, and I will see you next Thursday for another Agile Thought.